Welcome back, folks, to the LightEd online video show. This show is sponsored by Keystone Technologies. Go to KEYSTONETECH.com. Light made easy, Greg.
That's right, Retrofit Kings. They also have fixtures, so make sure you check that out.
So, Greg, how are your LiFi receptors today?
I don't have any over me right now, but we were recently in Paris, France at the LiFi World, what is it called? The World Congress?
World Congress, yeah.
Congress. I think it's a conference to me, but we'll call it a Congress. And it was interesting. It was unique. What did you think of it?
You know, I think it's interesting. This is what I've been telling people. This is a good way to think about. I just turned my cell phone off there. This is a good way to think about LiFi. Wi-Fi is like hearing. LiFi is like seeing. So these are your LiFi receptors. These are your Wi-Fi receptors. So for example, if you're in your backyard and you scream loud enough, someone in the front of your house can hear you, but it's kind of weird. And the louder you get, the stronger that signal has to be, the less secure it is, the further it goes. So Wi-Fi is like hearing. LiFi is like seeing. If you're in your backyard and you're sitting there, you can't see somebody at the front of your house, right? And so LiFi is innately more secure than Wi-Fi. It's innately faster, and I think eventually it's going to be able to set internet speed records that are going to go beyond the pale of internet. Like the idea of upload and download and ping speeds, these things are going to be ideas of the past as LiFi emerges and becomes more and more and more pervasive.
Sure. Yeah, and we actually recorded a LiFi or a podcast live stream through LiFi, and not sure we could have done it with standard Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Because of the
Wi-Fi.
speeds.
Yeah, Wi-Fi. So if you think of Wi-Fi like hearing and you think of LiFi like seeing, it doesn't work that way, but that's a good way of thinking about it. So the LiFi signal was boom right there, and the receptor was right there below the Wi-Fi thing, and whoosh, up it went to the main router, and out it went to the world. So it's inherently faster by nature. And I think it's just a matter of time before. So, you often hear like people say, oh, humans are slow to adapt to change. And if everybody just changed, everything would be so much better. I think that humans are very sensitive to changing for the better. And I had a conversation with somebody recently about this, and it was on this topic. And he's like, well, give me an example of the kind of change you're talking about. And I said, well, when's the last time you saw a suitcase without wheels on it?
Sure.
Right? So like when I was a kid, all the suitcases in our house didn't have wheels, and we'd go to the airport, we'd be lugging all these suitcases. Now, find a suitcase without wheels on it for me. Impossible. Can't find one. You go to every airport in the world, and 99% of the suitcases have wheels on them. Because when humans see something that's so obviously better the way to go than this other thing, they will switch, and they will switch very quickly, and the other thing will become very minimal. Doesn't mean it will disappear completely, but it'll become minimal. I think LiFi is going to eat a lot of Wi-Fi applications now, just because it makes so much sense. And what do people want from the internet more than anything else, Greg?
They want to be connected and get things quickly.
Speed. So they want it to be speed. In the world of virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and social networking, videos, and streaming, and all this kind of stuff, it just seems to me that Wi-Fi, the shelf date of Wi-Fi is coming up real soon, dude, and it's going to be replaced by LiFi.
Yeah, and to break down a little bit about how it works, and with our podcast that we recorded, so you have to have internet connected to the light. Number one, the light fixture itself has to have an Ethernet cord going up to it. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I saw, and that's what they told us. And then you need a dongle that's basically like a USB stick that has a round receptor, or whatever, maybe it could be square, I guess, but a receptor that the light hits, and then that's where the internet comes in through.
Yeah, but it's just going to be a matter of time before this is a LiFi receptor.
Yes.
It's just a matter of time.
That's where, because right now it's defined France basically is where they're really pushing for it, and they talked about Air France is going to implement it on their airplanes.
Oh, it makes so much sense.
I think is a great idea.
Makes so much sense for airplanes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So they were unveiling that, and I think right around that time of that conference. So I think their plans are starting to do that. And then it's going to eventually get rolled out. We had a number of talks with people on site there, and really there's not a lot of action in the US yet on it for whatever reason, but Europe is really getting active in it. And like you said, I think it's just a matter of time. Some of the costs are still a little high to make sense out
I
of
think
it.
that dongle was
You
like
know,
$200 though. It wasn't ridiculous.
well, the dongle, but the light fixture, I think it was the light fixture and the dongle together was over 1,000 for one recess
Sure.
can. And that's a little much to have. But if you don't move and you have one spot and you want high internet speed, maybe it's worth $1,000 to put over your head.
And not
But then
only,
don't move.
yeah, but I mean, you're talking about the initial salvo of the industry at this, right? And
Yeah.
I just, it just seems to make so much more. Hey, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before about this kind of thing, and so
You?
I mean, me, yeah, holy macaroni, hey, should have been wrong all the
Oh,
time, half my life. Half my life is wrong. The other half is right. I'm trying to balance it by getting 51% right. But
that's
I
all you
thought
need.
there. Sorry, I had my phone just went off there. But sorry about that, folks. But yeah, so you know what? Maybe it'll end up that it's niche though. I don't know, man, because maybe there is advantages to that idea of screaming in the backyard and hearing. Maybe it'll be both. Maybe there'll be Li-Fi and Wi-Fi. Who knows?
Yeah, I think the fact that you always need to be seen by the light is the downfall to it. But if you're talking an office environment or a commercial business, you always are going to have light above you, or you should always have light above you. Granted, there are places that turn the lights off altogether above them.
Yeah, but they have ultraviolet ones too, right? They have the
Yes,
ultraviolet Li-Fi, right? So it doesn't need to be
but you always need
necessarily
a
visible light.
you need a roof over your head,
A
so you
roof.
can't. Yeah, a roof. So if you want to have internet speed outside of your house or outside your business, where you don't have a roof over it, can't really use Li-Fi. So that's some of the downfall to it. Not that you
Well,
need it
I,
all that
I
often, but
actually, I actually wonder, and this is where you get into the matrix. And I was talking to some of the people that of podcasts we released on the Get a Grip on Lighting show, Dr. Harold Haas, Dr. Brant Pierce, Dr. Passig didn't really have this kind of information. But when I talked to him about the idea, they were saying that Li-Fi works by intermittently blinking the light. So flicker is bad, but Li-Fi is flicker really. So it's really micro flickers that are sending the signals on the light. So you're getting this signal with a flicker, 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 flicker. And I compared it to Morse code, right? It was like, and basically it's like a light-based type of Morse code. And
yeah,
but I think actually that we're just beginning to understand how waves of light can be used as a communication tool, right?
yeah.
We're just beginning to understand that. And maybe Wi-Fi and light and all this sort of stuff is really just a basic energy source that we can tap into at some point and manipulate and use. And this is how we're going to travel across the universe.
It's going to be wild
Wi-Fi.
times, but something to keep track of.
Yeah, for sure.
So
this episode of the Light Ted Online video show is sponsored by Keystone Technologies. Remember, always the first thing you do when you get to your lighting shop is go to KEYSTONETECH.com, baby, KeystoneTech.com. Josh Brown.